Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatam aham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam. Next slide. Neelachala nivasaya nityaya paramatmane balabhadra subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya te namaha. Deva Deva Jagannatha Prapannarati Vinashana Trahi Mam Pundarikaksha Patitam Bhava Sagare. Namaste Jagat Adhara Jagat Atman Namostute Kaivalya Trigunatita Gunanjana Namostute Karunamrita Patodhe Sudhamne Namo Namaha Dinodharika Guyai Kripapadhodaye Namaha Paritrahi Jagannatha Dinabandho Namostute Nistirno Ham Bhavam Bodhim Prapyatvam Taranim Sukham. Namaste Haladragrama, Namaste Mushalayudha, Namaste Revati Kanta, Namaste Bhaktavatsala, Namaste Balinam Shrestha, Namaste Dharani Dhara, Pralambare Namaste Stu. Trahimam Krishna Purvaja Devi Tvam Vishnu Mayapi Mohayanti Characharam Ratpadmasana Sansthasi Vishnu Bhavavanu Arini Jaya Devi Bhakti Datri Prasida Parameshwari Jaya Devi Subhadra Tvam Sarvesham Bhadradaini Sudarshana Mahajvala Koti Surya Samaprabha Ajnanandhasya Me Nityam Vishnu Margam Pradarshaya Namaste Nitya Vilasad Vaishnavastra Niketana Avarya Viryam Yadrupam Vishnu Stat Paramamyaham. Hare Krishna, everyone. Very happy to be here amongst all the devotees. Actually, Anandamaya Krishna Prabhu mentioned that everybody knows me, but actually only Lord Jagannath here knows me. You know me outwardly, but from inside, the Lords were sitting on top of me. They know my heart. They know my mind, which I cannot reveal to everybody, but they know all the anarthas that I possess as well. I've given many classes on philosophy and stories, but speaking about Lord Jagannath is like an ocean of mercy. And it is very difficult to figure out where to start from and where to end. And as I was preparing and reading more about Lord Jagannath, I was going deeper and deeper, drowning into this ocean. So I thought, let me start with the story of how Lord Jagannath came into existence. Some of you may already know. It will be nice to revisit. Some of you may not know. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhava Tume. We sing this when we sing Pull the Chariot of the Lord or sing the glories of Lord Jagannath. Many of us sing this, but here's the meaning also. O Jagannath, Lord of the universe, kindly be visible to me. So in Satyuga, there was a king, King Indradyumna, to whom we are very, very grateful. King Indradyumna was one of the causes, reasons why Lord Jagannath appeared, and he exists today as well. We can never forget the gratitude, or we should never forget to be grateful to those who connect us with the Supreme Lord. And in this case, it was King Indradyumna. Many years ago, King Indradyumna, he wanted to see the Lord. He was a devotee of Lord Vishnu, and he always had this desire to see the Lord. So he wanted to find out from all the pilgrims who would pass through his kingdom that please tell me, where can I see Lord Hari? And he was told that in this one Kshetra, Nilachal Kshetra, there is the deity of Nil Madhava. And if you see Nil Madhava, you've seen the Supreme Lord in person. And hearing about this, King Indradyumna was very, very anxious to see. And that's all he heard. But where to find exactly, where to go, where's the temple, where's the deity, was not disclosed. So then King Indradyumna called upon all the men, messengers from his kingdom, and he said, please go out in search of this Nil Madhav. His description is like this. Of all those people who went in search of Nil Madhav, one of them was Vidyapati. And they all went in different directions. Time passed. Indradyumna would every day wake up, look out from his veranda. Has anyone returned yet? Has anybody heard about Nil Madhava? Has anybody found Nil Madhava? Slowly, slowly, each person returned back to the kingdom, feeling down and sad. And just seeing their face, Indradyumna would know that they could not find Nil Madhav. Pretty much everybody had returned back to the kingdom except one person, and that was his priest, a Brahmana by the name Vidyapati. Vidyapati had not returned, and that was the only hope that King Indradyumna had. That I pray that he come back with good news. Vidyapati, searching for Nil Madhava, asking around, reached a place in the forest where the Shabara, or the tribal people, used to live. He was tired, he was exhausted from going places to places to places. There he came upon the house of Vishwashu. He made him feel comfortable, gave him food, water, a place to rest, and also engaged his daughter Lalita in serving Vishwasu. One night, while he was asleep, Vidyapati noticed that his father woke up, got dressed up with a stick and whatever else he required, and went into the forest in the middle of the night. And then next morning, when Vishwashu returned, he had this different aura in him. He had the smell of sandalwood, camphor, musk, and he looked pretty as if he had just come from a parlor or something with facial done and just so fresh and energetic. And this happened pretty much every night. While he was also staying there, Vidyapati got attracted to his daughter Lalita, and their marriage was arranged. He even got married, didn't waste any time. And then one night, Vidyapati asked his wife, "Where's your father going every day?" And she would not disclose, but after pleading again and again, Lalita told the whole story about Neel Madhava in the forest, on top of this mountain, where his father would go every night to take darshan. "Lalita, I must have darshan of Neel Madhava. You know, my only mission, the reason I'm here today is to find Neel Madhav. My king, Indradyumna, is waiting to hear these news that I have found him. Please tell your father to take me to Neel Madhav." Lalita was, "How can I tell my father? Nobody's supposed to see, even I haven't seen him." "Lalita, you're my wife. I'm just begging you at least this much." Somehow Lalita convinced Vishwashu to take Vidyapati. The deal was that, "Vidyapati, I will take you, but you will need to be blindfolded." Lalita knew that my husband was here on a mission to find Neel Madhav. So without her father's knowing, Lalita packed a small bag, took a piece of cloth, put some mustard seeds in it, and tied it on Vidyapati's belly area on the waist. The plan was that while Vidyapati is taken through the forest in the dark, there was no electricity, nothing, he would take some mustard seeds and throw it along the way as he's heading towards Nilmadhav. So the next time he comes, he can just follow the path where the mustard seeds sprouted some herbs there. When he reached Nilmadhav, he gradually opened his eyelids. Vishwashu opened his blindfold. And when he saw, he was so excited. He was so excited he couldn't resist. He started dancing and jumping and singing. And he couldn't believe that he was seeing the Lord face to face. There was no bound. Vidyapati was never seen like this by his father, Vishwashu. And when he saw him singing Hare Krishna, jumping like some of our devotees jump, he felt that his life was complete. Tujhe dekha to ye jana sanam, प्यार होता है दीवाना सनम, अब यहाँ से कहा जाए हम, तेरी बाहों में मर जाए हम. He told that to Neel Madhav. Now where am I going to go from here? I want to die right here. And as he's singing, Tujhe dekha, and he noticed a crow sitting on a branch on top of a tree right there, fell in front of him into a pond that was next to Neel Madhava's temple. And as soon as that crow fell inside, a effulgent person with 4 arms appeared from that pond and went back to Vaikuntha Loka. When Vishwashu saw this, and Vidyapati was astonished, Vishwashu said, "This is nothing to be astonished about." And as soon as Vishwashu started talking, Vidyapati ran up that tree to do the same. "I'm going to jump in this pond. I'm going to give up my life. I'm going to go back home to Vaikuntha planet." Vishwashu stopped him and said, "Listen, stop. Don't do this. You're not here for this. You're here to take this message back to King Indradyumna that you found. Do you want to be selfish and just go back home, back to Godhead, and just make your king wait for you?" He realized it. He says, "No, I understand. I must come here. I must do what I was supposed to be here for." They headed back to their home. While they're heading back, Vidyapati is still excited walking down the hill. At that point, Vishwashu heard a voice. He heard a voice saying that, Vishwashu, I want to be worshipped elaborately, opulently. Let King Indradyumna come and make it happen. Vishwashu forgot at that point that the Lord had just spoken to him. He forgot about that mercy that he was receiving. Instead, he got very upset and felt insecure. That now my Neel Madhav, the service that I used to perform as a tribal, a simple service, will all be taken from me. He went to his house and he tied up Vidyapati. He says, you are not going anywhere. You're just going to stay here, because if you go, I'm going to lose my Neel Madhav. Finally, anyways, wife came to help and convinced her father, and at the dead of the night, released her husband. He went back to King Indradyumna. King Indradyumna was very happy to receive him and waited not for a moment, took his entire entourage, his family members, and the kings from surrounding kingdoms, and headed towards Sri Kshetra. When he got there, he was disappointed because he would not be able to see Neel Madhav. Neel Madhav had disappeared, had left. And he got pretty upset at Vishwashu. But it wasn't Vishwashu's fault. The Lord had desired to disappear. And at that point, there was an Akashvani. And in that, the Lord told Indradyumna, hey, king, do not worry. I shall reappear. Build a temple for me. And I shall reappear here as Daru Brahma. And at that point, following those instructions, King Indradyumna wanted to build a temple. He built a temple, but to consecrate it, he went to Brahmaloka. He said, I want Lord Brahma to come and bless this temple. Went to Brahmaloka. He could do that. And Brahmaloka, when he went, Brahmaji said, wait a moment. Let me just get, dressed up, make my beard, everything just perfect. I'm going to Earth planet. But a moment in Brahma's planet, Satyaloka, years and years passed away on the Earth planet. When Indradyumna came back with Brahma, what happened? The temple is no longer visible. It was covered by sand dunes. It was completely covered by sand dunes. And at that point, he knew this is where it was built. There was a king, King Galamadhva, who had then started digging and found the temple. And he said, this is the temple that I had actually built. It was covered. And Indradyumna was, no, this is me who built many, many years ago. And now I am back and you're saying it's yours? And at that time, there was a crow, Bhushandi crow, who lived all these years, and he revealed that, hey, I was present. It is King Indradyumna who had constructed this temple. But it is also true that Galamadhav uncovered it. Brahmaji said, listen, I am not qualified to install deities in this temple. I am nothing to bless Lord Vishnu's temple. I'm not qualified. But one thing I shall do. I will bless this temple by placing a flag on the top of the temple. And I promise that anyone who sees this flag on top of this temple from far away distance and bows down with full faith and sincerity shall be easily become liberated. In his dream, Indradumna was waiting. What do I do? Where is Nilamadhava? Where is Krishna? Where is Vishnu? The Lord told him that I will appear in the form of Daru Brahma, in a wooden log form. And from this wooden log, I shall appear. Right by the ocean, this log will appear, and you bring, and I will manifest. So the next day, exactly what he heard happened. Daru Brahma, a big log came. His hundreds and thousands of soldiers, along with elephants, could not pull it out from the shore. But Vishwashu and Vidyapati's descendants were called upon with a golden throne, with a chariot, both standing on each other side, and just pushing this log, they could put it on the chariot. And they brought it to where they had camped. Vishwakarma, he himself appeared as Ananta Maharana. And he told King Indradumna, I will carve this for you. Because when the log came, many of the carvers, many of the artisans were called to carve, but none could even chip. Their tools would break, but they could not even chip a little bit of this log. Ananta Maharana, who was Vishwakarma himself, said, I will build this. I will make the Lord. I need 21 days. And anybody, if you disturb me during that time, I will leave from here. Indradumna agreed, I will not disturb you. Here's your room, your lab. You can go in and start your work. 15 days passed, and suddenly one day, there was no noise coming out of there. King Indradumna's wife, Gundicha, got very curious. Dear husband, what happened? Do you think he left? Maybe he passed away? He can't be sleeping for this long. And she made Indradumna curious. Indradumna said, no, it's okay. He has told us not to open the door, otherwise he'll leave. But he couldn't convince his wife. And being pushed, he went and opened the door. When he opened the door, what did he see? 3 beautiful forms sitting there. But he was very disappointed. They had no legs, they had no hands, they had no ears, they had no hair. And he felt very sad and wanted to commit suicide. He went back to his quarters and he took a vow to not eat and give up his body. In his dream again, the Lord spoke and mentioned that, King, this is how I chose to appear. Do not feel that it was because you opened the door in 15 days that this is who I am. This is who I am because this is how I wanted to appear. Now you call and have me painted, and I shall deliver people all over the universe. And we shouldn't be surprised when we see Jagannath. When I first saw Lord Jagannath, I was like, I've never seen, this is Krishna, but there is no flute. He's not standing bent in 3 places. But even in the scriptures, it is mentioned that the Lord, each of his limbs can do part of the other limb. In Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma says, Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti, pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti, ananda chinmaya sadujjvala vigrahasya, govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane. King Indradumna was very happy to hear this. And he told the Lord that please, in fact, the Lord asked Indradumna, I'm very happy with your commitment. And I'm very happy with you. Despite so many challenges, you kept going and going and going in search of me. Ask for any benedictions. And King Indradyumna asked for 3 benedictions. My Lord, once you appear, once you are installed, please promise me that this temple will never be closed. You'll always be up and available for the devotees. Jagannath temple is closed only for 3 hours in a day. In our temples, we see from 1 to 4, the Lord rests. Then at night, 8:30 onwards, the Lord rests. Jagannath doesn't rest at all. The second thing Indradyumna asked is that all day long you must eat, my Lord. After eating, when you wash your hands, before they get dry, you should be served another set of meals. And the third thing he said, my Lord, let me not have a son. Let me not have descendants who will claim that this temple belongs to me. Let this temple be yours. And let this temple be of all the devotees who you allow to serve you. Let this temple never be called as King Indradyumna's temple. And then the Lord blessed him. We must try to understand that how this form of the Lord happened. Look at Jagannath, beautiful Jagannath with big eyes. This actually was a pastime when in Dwapar Yuga, when Krishna was in Mathura, in Dwarka, with all his wives, 16,108 wives. He was there, but he was never there. He was always thinking about the gopis. He was thinking about about Srimati Radharani. And the queens were always inquisitive. What is it about his pastimes in Vrindavan that he's always, always there? They wanted to know, who can tell us these pastimes? Somebody said, Mother Rohini is here. Let's ask her. She knows about it. They called Mother Rohini and said, Mother Rohini, please tell us about Krishna's baby pastimes as he's growing up. Mother Yashoda said, isn't Krishna and Balaram here? Yes, they are here. Do you know if they hear me speak about these pastimes, they will fall unconscious. They shouldn't hear these pastimes that I will narrate to you. Subhadra, can you stand outside the door and make sure that nobody, especially in Krishna Balaram, they do not enter? Says, yes, mother, I'll do that. So Subhadra Rani went and she was standing at the door as a gatekeeper. And Mother Rohini started narrating the stories of Krishna. They were so beautiful. All the 16,100 wives were just staring at Mother Rohini. I'm trying to narrate the story and some of you might be finding it hard to even stay awake. But when Mother Rohini was narrating the story, they were all in ecstasy. Even Subhadra was in so much ecstasy that at that point Krishna and Balaram came and she didn't even realize that they had come. She's holding the door with her arms and listening to Mother Rohini. And Krishna and Balaram from both the sides come and start listening. And listening to these pastimes, the three of them, they feel so much ecstasy. Their eyes become wide and their arms just shrinks into their body. And their legs, they're just kind of crawling. And it's hard for us human beings to even explain what to speak about experience. And at that point, Narad Muni comes and he looks at the three of them. He says, my Lord, this is the form, please. This is the form that you must appear in. Please fulfill this desire of mine. And the Lord said, yes, I will appear in these forms. And that's how Lord Jagannath appeared. He's not just a doll. Lord Jagannath, when we speak about Jagannath, all philosophy and everything goes out of the door. When you go to Jagannath Puri, and some of the pastimes that I'll narrate now, no philosophy applies here. When we talk about Vaishnava etiquettes, when we talk about niyams, rules and regulations, everything is out of the door when it comes to Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath just looks at the heart of his devotees. And if that heart is crying for Jagannath, Jagannath reciprocates. There are 5 main aspects of Jagannath's mercy, and we'll cover that 5. There's so much to speak, but I'll cover first just the 5. If we start with his eyes, next slide. Look at his beautiful eyes. Devotees, you have seen these eyes many times. Please take a moment, drop everything you're doing. Look at your phone, look at your laptop, and look at these eyes. Do you notice that there is no eyelids on this eye? You look at Krishna, you look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you look at Lord Ramachandra. They all have eyelids. But Jagannath, he promised Indradyumna that I'll give my darshan all the time. He never closes his eyes. And look at the 360 degrees from every angle. He's looking at us from every angle. This is a beautiful eyes of Jagannath. He never sleeps. The 2 to 3 hours when the temple closes, it is said that at that time, also he doesn't sleep. Do you know why? Because at that time, the demigods come to meet him. The demigods, that's the time, their appointment with Lord Jagannath. We are so grateful to Srila Prabhupada for bringing Lord Jagannath to us. Look at the beautiful eyes of his pure devotee, looking at his Lord and Master, Jagannath. Next slide. There's a beautiful poem one little kid had written once about Jagannath. I came across. Sunday school kids, they were asked to write something. And when this little kid wrote, Jagannath, Jagannath, yes, Gauranga. Giving darshan to people, yes, Gauranga. Going on the chariot, yes, Gauranga. Open your wide lotus eyes. I just love this. You could just see the purity of just the humility of this little child who was asked to write a poem. So beautiful. Next slide. The second aspect after his eyes is prasadam. We know in the 9 process of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, one of the most easiest process, chant the holy names of the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he said, if you want to liberate yourself, if you want to be God realized, if you want to go back home, back to the spiritual world, you have to chant the holy names of the Lord. Even after giving the simplest process, we find it so difficult. Even while chanting, just Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We fall asleep. Even I've seen people doing kirtan at night, soft kirtan. They fall asleep. But have you ever seen anybody having prasadam and fall asleep? In fact, we have to say Mahaprasade Govinda to wake people up from falling asleep in the morning after Bhagavatam class. So Jagannath's Mahaprasad is so glorious. It is said that in Braj, if one wants the mercy of Vrindavan, one should roll in the dust of the Raj of Vrindavan. If one wants the mercy of Mayapur, one should go take a dip in Ganga. And if one wants the mercy of Lord Jagannath in Jagannath Puri, one must have the Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath. One time, Narad Muni, as he's traveling through the universe, he always would stop by Lakshmi Narayan and always do some little service. Oh, mother, I had been to Loi Bazaar and I got this little something for you from Loi Bazaar in Vrindavan. I was in Jaipur And I got this beautiful little asan for you, mother. And always he would serve Lakshmi ji in some way or the other. And Lakshmi one day said, Narad, can you tell me what is it that you want? You've been extra nice to me. And Narad was, no, mother, it's not like that. I'm always nice to you. I don't, Narad, just tell me what is it that you want? Mother, is it possible for you to get me some prasad, Mahaprasad of your husband, Vishnu? What? Just yesterday, my husband told me that never ever share my prasad with anybody. And today you're asking me if I can. If you had asked me this 2 days ago, I would have done it, but now it's not possible. Mother, you just promised me, right, that you were so pleased with me and you will fulfill whatever I asked for? Yeah, but Narad, ask something else. This is, mother, he was very upset. Lakshmi went to Vishnu and expressed to her. In fact, he saw her very upset. And at that point, she told that this is what happened. Narad Muni wants your prasad, but you told me not to give to anybody. What do I do? So Vishnu said, well, I told you not to give, but I didn't tell you not to give while I'm not watching. If I don't know about it, I don't know about it, right? And Lakshmi was, oh, okay. So the next day, Lakshmiji told Garuda something, and then Garuda called Vishnu on the side, Master, and he went on the side, and Lakshmiji took the plate that her husband had just eaten from and went running and gave it to Narad Muni. Narad, here it is. Take it and go away before he sees you. And Narad Muni takes that Mahaprasad and he takes the first bite. And the moment he puts in his mouth, he starts singing. Mil gaya, humko prasad mil gaya, ab to Vishnu prasad mil gaya, ho ho mil gaya, Vishnu prasad. He kept singing, and he kept singing, and went around in the universe, and he reached Kailash, and Lord Shiva is meditating. And Narad Muni is dancing and singing. He's so much ecstasy of having Vishnu Prasad. And he starts singing, Dafali Vale. And Shivji is sitting. He opens his eyes. And he closes his eyes again. And Narad is, Dafali Vale, Dafali Vaja. And Shivji is like, Narad, why are you mera dhyan bhang kar rahe ho? What is wrong with you today? Vishnu, and they were very close. He's servant, both are servants of Vishnu. Narad Muni was, I am so ecstasy. My life is fulfilled, complete. What happened to you? You got married? Come on. If I was married, I wouldn't be that happy. Then what happened, Narad? I got Vishnu Prasad. Turant se Lord Shiva got up from his seat, said, Vishnu Prasad? Where is it? Did you bring some for me? Did you? Oops. I finished everything, my lord. I finished everything. Narad, you telling me you got Vishnu Prasad and you didn't bring anything for me? I'm so sorry. No, there must be something. Did you wash your hands? Did you use hand wash? No, I haven't washed my hands yet. Then let me see your hands. Open your hands. And Lord Shiva is looking at each finger of Narada and the nails. And he says, hold on, don't move. What is it, Shiva? Don't move. I can see a small grain in your fingernails. And Lord Shiva takes it from there and he puts it in his mouth. And as soon as he puts it in his mouth, Lord Shiva is in so much ecstasy. So much ecstasy. He starts dancing and singing. And he's doing the Nataraj, the dance, when it's time for destruction. And that time Parvati comes, says, my lord, kya hua? What has happened to you? Mil gaya, humko prasad mil gaya. He starts singing. He said, I've never heard my husband sing. What's wrong with both of you? I got Vishnu Prasad. And Parvati is like, where's my share? And he goes, oops, there's nothing left. And Parvati, you don't want to upset your wife. She gets so upset, so mad that she says, go, both of you. And she sits down for meditation and she does severe tapasya. And Lord Vishnu appears. He says, what do you want, my dear? It says, these two, they got your prasad and they did not share it with me. And I'm very, very upset about that. So Vishnu goes, no big deal. You make me some samosas and vada pavs and I'll have it and I'll leave half for you and you have it. He says, no, not just for me. I'm very upset this time and it's not just for me. I want your Mahaprasad for all my children. Now Durga is Parvati. All creation, we all are children of Durga, of Parvati. She referred to us as all the living entities under my care. I want prasad for all of them. And that is the mood of a devotee. A devotee is never satisfied by just taking darshan by themselves. A devotee is never satisfied by just hovering on prasadam for themselves. They want to share it with others. And that was the mood of Durga, Parvati. She said, I want for everybody. Vishnu says, Tathastu, I shall come. I shall appear in Kurma Kshetra, in Sri Kshetra, and there my prasadam would be distributed to anybody and everybody. And even till today, Parvati sits right in front of Jagannath temple in the premises as Bimala Devi. And it is said that Jagannath's prasad that comes to Jagannath, it doesn't become Mahaprasad until Bimala Devi gets the prasad of Lord Jagannath. 56 items goes to Jagannath. After that goes to Bimala Devi. Bimala Devi honors it, and then it gets distributed to everybody, even till today. This is the mercy of great devotees. Now, going to the next slide, the third essence. Okay, here's a list of some of the prasadam that we talked about. Every day the Lord gets offered 56 items. Do you know how many times a day? He gets offered 8 times daily. 8 times. And these are some of the items that he gets offered. Next slide. Now, when we talk, the third point I would like to talk about is the servants of Lord Jagannath. In all the temples, you go to the Char Dham, you have highly qualified priests serving the Lord, Brahmanas. In Jagannath Puri, it is not the Brahmanas, it is the Shabara, the tribal descendants of Vidyapati, the descendants of Vishwashu, who are serving the Lord with so much love and devotion. Jagannath, as you know, his arms are like this. They are so close to the Lord. During the Rath Yatra, they would just lean on the hand of the Lord. They would just sit on the Lord, and the Lord would never take any offense from them. They're called the Daityapatis. They're so close. And they would speak to the Lord. They would say anything to the Lord. They would sometimes quarrel in front of the Lord. And they could be very rough. They're called pandas. The first time when we were to go to Jagannath Puri, I had this fear because anybody who came from Jagannath Puri said, Bach ke rehna re baba, bach ke rehna re. Kisse baba? Panda se re baba, bach ke rehna re. The Jagannath Puri pandas, you have to be very careful from them. Why? They'll take your money, they'll beat you up. And I had this fear, oh my God. So I prayed to Lord Jagannath. And when we went to Jagannath temple, just like when Krishna from Mathura was taken by Vasudev, the gate doors just kept opening. All the pandas just moved on the side. Nobody came. We just went straight into the Jagannath It's like this, like the picture behind. There's no electric light. There's just deep ghee lamps and big Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra are sitting, and you can go around them and make pradakshina and got beautiful darshan. And they could, when I went to pay obeisances, one panda from the top hit me heavy on the backside. He said, put some money here. But this is the mood of them. One time, Ramanujacharya, who's the main acharya of the Sri Sampradaya, came to Jagannath Puri. When he came to Jagannath Puri, he looked at all these pujaris, the pandas. He says, what is this worship? Even in our homes, we don't have this kind of worship. The quality of what they are doing is better. Hamare devotees karte hain ghar pe. We need to change this. I need to meet king of Puri. He went to the king and he explained, oh, Ramanujacharya has appeared. Please tell me what, you have to change this whole process. The Brahmanas have to come, Shika Vipka laga ke, tilak laga ke, tulsi mala pen ke. They have to make offering. Namo Brahmanya Deva, Go Brahmanata, Jagadita, Krishna, Govinda, Namo Namah. Said, you have to change. Okay, my lord, if you say so, we will do that. So king called all the priests and says, we have to change this whole process. And they were very upset. The tribal, the Daityapatis were very upset. But they couldn't say anything. It was the king's order. So in coming days, one morning, this change had to happen. And next morning came, the king was there, all the Daityapatis were there. And we were all waiting for Ramanujacharya to appear. Ramanujacharya kidhar hai baba? He's not to be seen anywhere. Ramanujacharya is not to be seen anywhere. They found out that Ramanujacharya, the previous night, Lord Jagannath appeared to Ramanujacharya, and he chastised him. He said, who do you think you are? I am taking my service from my devotees. They love me, and I'm happy with their service. Why do you want to change? Go back to where you came from. And the Lord transferred Ramanujacharya that same night, and he was found in southern part of India. Imagine, here is Puri in the east, and he was transferred by the Lord back to where he came from. And Ramanujacharya was, my Lord, I fail to understand. He accepted the Lord's mercy. So this is how the servants of the Lord, you see this is a 45 feet chakra on which this devotee is standing, one of the servants. Standing on it, it's such a big chakra also. So now if we go to the next slide, there was a third aspect. The fourth aspect is the pastimes of the Lord. There's so many pastimes and we don't have enough time. And what I was talking now also were all the pastimes, but some of the pastimes to touch upon. Lord doesn't like when somebody develops pride and ego in them. He crushes them. One such person was Udyan Acharya. He was a Kashmiri Pandit, a very, very learned scholar. He had heard and he had read in the Shastra, Yatra Shakya Jagannatha Shanka Chakra Gadadhara Jantunam Darshanat Muktim Yo Dadati Kripanidha. Whoever takes darshan of Daru Brahma, Jagannath will immediately liberate that person. Udyan Acharya had some doubts. He came to Puri and he had this doubt in his mind that how is it possible? I will go tomorrow myself and look at Jagannath and see if I feel anything. That night went by. The next morning, the priest came to open the door. Are you all with me? The priest went to open the door and the door would not open. It's locked from inside. It's locked from inside. Who locked it? Jagannath. It's not opening. The door would not open that day. The priest, the head priest, the Lord always reciprocates with the head priest. That night, Lord Jagannath came in the dream of the head priest and said, there is this one person by the name Udyan Acharya. He is here in Puri and he thinks himself to be highly learned scholar. And as long as he lives, he is in Puri, I will not give darshan to anybody. The next morning when the priest got up, he called all the other priests and said, we have to go out and look for Udyanacharya. Udyanacharya, Udyanacharya. Is anybody seen Udyanacharya? And Udyanacharya hears his name being called upon. He says, yes, this is me. He says, Prabhu, prasad leke aao re baba, prasad ke bag. Please take this prasad and leave Puri now. What happened? Lord Jagannath has said that you do not believe that anybody who sees him gets mercy to get liberated, that the Lord has this potency. He wants you to go. Imagine you coming to the temple, you visiting a devotee. How much it feels when somebody says, you must go. Please, ab naha ke nahi aaye, jao ghar. Udyanacharya had tears in his eyes. He had tears. Instead of feeling proud and saying, oh, I don't care, I'm going anyways, or oh, I don't want to stay, he took a very humble position. He says, yes, I will leave. But before I leave, let me go to the temple and see if Jagannath can give me one final darshan. And let me fall down and give him full danvats and beg for forgiveness at his lotus feet. When he went with that mood to Jagannath temple, the Lord is very pleased when a devotee accepts their own fault and surrenders to the Lord. The door of the temple opened and Jagannath gave the mercy. Udyanacharya got the darshan, and never after that he had any doubts like this. A similar story is of Guru Nanak, the Sikh Guru. He came to Jagannath Puri. He was sitting by the shore of Jagannath beach, and he told one of his disciples, please go to the temple and bring Jagannath Mahaprasad. When he went there, the Pandavas would not allow him to come inside. You're following a different path. You cannot enter Jagannath temple. Go away from here. He came back. Guru, I could not get the prasad of Jagannath. And at that point, when Guru Nanak heard this and he prayed to the Lord, the Mahaprasadam from the Lord's plate flew to where Guru Nanak was. Hearing about this and seeing this, the priest and the king, they all ran. They went to where Guru Nanak was. Guru Nanak was in a meditative mood. And he opened his palms. And when he opened his palms and he showed to them, he could see the face of Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra. The Lord was so merciful. And Guru Nanak has also glorified Govinda and Krishna so much in their scriptures, later on followed by the Sikh devotees of the Lord. There's also a beautiful pastime of Captain Beetle in 1600s. He was a French boatman who was carrying a lot of spices and a big bell to be installed in Pondicherry on top of a church. While he was passing through the ocean closer to Puri, there was a big storm, and then there was a big whale that was following the boat and almost going to knock over the boat. This captain was very scared, and he knew that they're going to all sink. Everything he has on the boat is going to be lost in the ocean. While they're trying, hither, running around, trying to figure out what to do, how to save ourselves, there's one old gentleman sitting in one corner and had a piece of paper, and he was peacefully looking at it. Captain Beetle noticed that, and he ran up to him and says, what are you, how come you're not panicking? And he saw there was a picture of Jagannath on it. And he said to the captain that if my Jagannath desires, nothing will happen to us. I'm praying to Jagannath. And when Captain Beetle heard this conviction that this old man had, he made a statement and said that if your Jagannath saves us today and this boat, I will give everything that is in this boat to Lord Jagannath. And I myself will become a devotee of Jagannath. As soon as Captain made that statement, that whale turned around and disappeared. The storm calmed down. If you go to Jagannath Puri today, right by the office of the Jagannath temple, this big bell that was donated, given by Captain Beetle in 1650, is still sitting there. And he took shelter of Jagannath. He became a devotee of Jagannath. There was another story of Bandhu Mohanty, who was a simple, humble, poor, who was not a Brahmin, who used to live near Puri. And he was always engaged in reading, talking, and remembering pastimes of the Lord. He would talk about Jagannath. Jagannath, my friend. He's my friend. We did this, we do that. And his wife always thought that he had a friend whose name was Jagannath. He said he's a very wealthy friend. And Bantu Mohanty and family very poor. He says, why don't we go and ask for some money and some help? Just like Sudama's pastime. And Bandhu Mohanty was, dear wife, how can we go? Look at our clothes. It's completely torn. How can I take you like this and the kids? But then the situation got worse. There was a big famine that hit their village. They had lost pretty much everything. And just for the sake of his children and wife, Bandhu Mohanty then finally agreed. He says, okay, let's go. We will meet my friend Jagannath. And they went to Puri. When they went to Puri and they went to the temple, he said, let's go first to his palace. The temple doors had closed. Could not get the darshan. Kids were hungry. It was getting dark, night. They went to sleep. Bandhu Mohanty's wife said, my children, how can they sleep hungry? So she went to the back of the temple, and there's a place from where rice water from the rice, salty, comes out, and it just flows. And the cows come there to drink that. She moved the cows away. She collected that rice, salt water, brought it to her kids. Beta khalo, beta khalo. They ate whatever was there. They slept. In the middle of the night, she was woken up by somebody. Bandhu Mohanty, Bandhu Mohanty. Said, huh? Who's Bandhu Mohanty? Oh, that's my husband. He's sleeping. Oh, he's sleeping. His friend Jagannath has sent some Mahaprasad for him. He came, this dark boy, young boy, brought a golden tray with prasadam. Says, this is for him. And she didn't want to wake her husband up as he was tired and sleeping. She took the prasad. She had a little bit, again fed her children a little bit, and kept it under the pillow. Next morning when they got up, he says, your friend Jagannath sent somebody with some prasad. My friend? Yes. And here's the golden plate. When he looked at it, he realized, oh my God, what happened? Why didn't you wake me up? There was none other than my Jagannath, the Supreme Lord. He hid it under the pillow. In the temple, the pujaris opened the door. Jagannath's plate is missing. Somebody has stolen Jagannath's plate. Inform the king. The king is informed. King sends police around. Find out who stole the plate of Jagannath. Searching around, they came to Mohanty. So what is it? Where are you guys from? New to the area. What is that you're hiding behind you? They find the plate. They arrest Bandhu Mohanty. The wife is pleading, it is not his fault. He's not a thief. Jagannath sent this to us. Please. They're about to punish him. They tie him against a pillar and beating him and getting punished. And at that time, the king was given darshan by the Lord. He heard that this person who you're about to punish is my devotee. I am the one. It was my golden plate. Why are you bothered about it? And Bandhu Mohanty was protected. Similarly, there's so many more pastimes of the Lord. Beautiful. I can't complete all of them today. Next slide. And the last aspect is Jagannath Rath Yatra. What to say about Jagannath Rath Yatra? Srila Prabhupada himself as a child used to take the cart of Jagannath out. And as he grew up, in the scriptures, in the temple, it is written somewhere that people from the west will come and take Jagannath away. And out of love for Jagannath, the Shabaras, they do not allow anybody who's not a Hindu inside the temple. It's kind of not discrimination, it's more of a love. We don't want to see our Jagannath go away with anybody else. But they didn't realize that Prabhupada came and stole Jagannath, and he took Jagannath all over the world. And his Rath Yatra is celebrated all over the world. Next slide. And this, there's also pastime behind that. When after Krishna had left Vrindavan, and after many, many years, Krishna, Balaram, Subhadra, and everyone from Dwarka were to visit Kurukshetra. And Nanda Baba also found out that Krishna is coming. It was an eclipse time. They also decided to go. And when they met Krishna in Kurukshetra, Krishna, Baldev, Subhadra on a chariot, the gopis rushed to Krishna and they got hold of his chariot. And they said, Krishna, it's been so many years. Please come back with us to Vrindavan. And they started pulling the chariot. So it is in that mood that this chariot festival happens, that we go and pull the chariot. And the mood is, Krishna, please enter my heart. Please make my heart softer. Please give me love for you. That is the mood of this Jagannath Rath Yatra. No other place the Lord goes out. It is said that when we are sick, we go to the doctor. But when we are very sick, the doctor comes to us. Isn't it? That used to be in the Vedic times. So similarly here, because many of them cannot go see Jagannath, Prabhupada and Jagannath Puri also, Jagannath comes outside to give darshan to anybody and everybody. He's also coming to New York City this Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., 44th Street, annual Hare Krishna Parade, 5th Avenue to Washington Square Park. You all decide what you would like to do. Everybody has different commitments and challenges, but just think about how these devotees, in the most simplest, they had nothing, but they were dying to get Jagannath's mercy. Here, because of Prabhupada's mercy, look at Prabhupada in front of the chariot. He was singing and dancing. When he used to dance in front of Jagannath in America, in New York, in California, hundreds and thousands of people raise their arms and dance. Jai Jagannath. That same Jagannath comes out once a year. Wouldn't we want to take his darshan, even if it's for 5 minutes? Next slide. These are some facts about Jagannath Puri. There's not been once over thousands of years that it has not rained on the day of Rath Yatra. Very auspicious. From years, the king of Puri, with a golden broom before Jagannath's cart, he has to broom. 1,400 men work on the Jagannath cart. Not a single metal nail is used. Everything is naturally done. And the word Juggernaut in English dictionary came from the word Jagannath, which means formidable. The British gave this word Juggernaut from the word Jagannath. Next. Next. The flag on the top of the shikhar of the temple always floats in opposite direction from the wind. Whichever direction wind is, opposite direction the flag goes. Every day a priest climbs the dome of the temple, which is as tall as 45 stories building, and changes the flag. This ritual has been going on since 1800 years. And it is said that if one day this service will be missed, the temple would be closed for 18 years. Never have they missed. They climbed 45. One time only one person, one devotee who went to change the flag fell from there. And as soon as he slipped, he shouted, Jagannath! And from nowhere, a monkey showed up and got hold of him and put him back in that position and disappeared. Nobody has died in last 18 years. The Sudarshan Chakra at the top of the temple is 20 feet in height and weighs about a ton. The interesting thing is that one can see the chakra at any corner of Puri. From any areas you look at, you will feel that the chakra is facing towards you, irrespective of your position. It's a very mystical place. Next. The engineering technique behind the installation is still a secret. How the chakra, 1 ton chakra, was bought all the way and installed on the Gopuram 2000 years ago is unknown to anybody. And the engineering of the temple was so unique that the shadow of the main dome, you cannot find the shadow of this temple on a sunny day. Nowhere. Next. In any place of the earth, the wind from sea comes to the land during the daytime, and in the evening it blows towards from the land towards the sea. But near the Puri shore, it's opposite. Nobody knows why. Nothing flies above the temple. In every temple you'll go, pigeons or crows, they'll go, and in this temple, not a single bird goes and sits on top. A plane never goes up. This is really surprising. Close to 20,000 devotees visit the temple, but nobody goes hungry. Prashadam is cooked so much that never it is wasted and never it's insufficient. Next. The prashadam is cooked in earthen pots on firewood. 7 pots are kept on top of each other. And the mystery is that the topmost pot gets cooked first, and then the last one gets cooked. And as soon as the cooking happens, they don't transfer it like we do in silver plates, small bowls. The entire pot goes in front of Jagannath as an offering. And there are 4 doors of the Jagannath temple. Simha Dwar is the main door to the temple. When you enter the temple, you cannot hear the sounds of the waves. But when you exit from the same place of the temple, you'll hear the wave sound. No sound can be heard until you come out of the temple. So these are some of the facts. Next. Hare Krishna, and thank you very much. My goal was today to inspire at least one person to go to Jagannath Puri or to go to the Jagannath Rath Yatra. If anyone felt inspired that I am going to go, and this year I'm going to take darshan in New York City or wherever, then I would consider my today's talk worth speaking. So thank you all for your attention. If you have any, I'll hand it back to the host. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much. What a journey. Very nice, Prabhu. Very nice. Thank you so much. So, very quickly before the questions, we'll just look at the programs next week and this weekend also. So, the devotees this Sunday, a Sunday class will be given by Ramachandra and Prabhu, and the topic is going to be why is life problematic and how to discover real happiness. So please tune in 7:15 again. Um, same Zoom link 884 108 1008. Please tune in back. Likewise, just like tonight, we'll have another class, but I think it's yet to be decided who's the speaker, and we'll keep you guys posted on it. Each Thursday, same Zoom link, we have a children's story time. And again, this same Zoom link, a week after a week, it's been happening since the pandemic had started. So if your child isn't there and you would like him or her to join, kindly let us know, and you can feel free to join the Zoom link. Friday Bhakti Vrikshas, we have many Bhakti Vrikshas in and around Bergen area and in Parsippany. Kindly reach out to us if you haven't ever participated and would like to. Each Sunday also, the school year is ending. We have a Sunday school at the temple, which has been online now for a year, a little over a year now. But the school year is ending. So anyone who would like to have their kids, if they've not yet enrolled and would like them to participate in the Sunday school. I know one Mataji has already reached out to me. But if anyone else would like their son or daughter to join the Sunday school, please reach out to us, and or Madhvi Sita Mataji or any of the teachers also. Every day we have for 15 minutes Bhagavad Gita reading between 12 and 12:15. Same Zoom link. No, I guess actually it's a different Zoom link. Prabhu, Gopal Govind Prabhu, is the Zoom link same or different?
It's same link.
And yeah, so please, if anyone would like to join in for the Bhagavad Gita reading, is the same Zoom link. And last but not the least, the day starts with chanting the japa between 6 and a.m. Again, the same Zoom link. Many of us here on this call join that japa. So if someone would like to plug in, let us know. We can put you on the, we can put your name down for the next month. And you could also lead or lead the chanting in the morning, whichever time slot works for you. All right. So let's get back to some some questions and answers. If you would like to raise your hand and ask the question, that's fine. If you want to directly unmute yourself, that's fine too. But if you want to send it to me via chat, I can read out the question as well. All right. Does anyone have a question? Like I said, you could send it to me on chat or just raise your hand or even unmute yourself. Shraddha Mataji, yes, please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
for a wonderful, wonderful presentation, as always. I was just thinking about that part when you mentioned that Indradumna Maharaj was, King Indradumna was actually probed by his wife Gundicha to go and open the room where Lord Vishwakarma was making the deities. So but before that, we know that King Indradyumna went to Brahmaloka to get Lord Brahma. And by the time he came back, a lot of time had already passed. So, did he come back and remarry, or like the wife that we are talking about?
I don't know. But at that time, Gundicha was the wife. I don't know whether they both went together. Usually, husband should take the wife along. So I would say maybe they went together. I can find out if somebody knows, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, thank you, please.
Anyone else? Subhadarani Mataji, please go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful lecture, Prabhuji. Yeah, you narrated very nicely, Prabhuji. It's like a bedtime story. Yeah. Yeah, and we are also inspired to go to Jagannath Puri after the lecture, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, is there any connect Gundicha temple and the wife of Maharaj is Gundicha? Is there any connection between them? And what is the importance of Gundicha temple? And Radha will go to Gundicha temple and return back. Is there any story, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the Gundicha temple is very much connected with his wife. It's named after, it's a garden temple. So the Gundicha temple is named after Indradyumna's wife, Gundicha. And when the Lord comes out from here, it's like coming from Kurukshetra, right? He's pulled from Kurukshetra and brought to Vrindavan. The same thing, concept, in the same love, he's pulled from there, he's brought to Gundicha. He stays there for 9 days. And Gundicha temple, before even the Lord appears, we know the Gundicha Marjanam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself requested all of us to clean our hearts before Krishna appears in Vrindavan. So they cleaned the Gundicha temple spick and span. So that is the move. So he stays there for 9 days. He leaves his wife behind. Lakshmiji comes. He says, "Hey, you left me here. What is going on?" And Lakshmi says, "Oh, listen, go home. I'll come back soon. Brother, sister outing." So that is, yes, it is connected with Gundicha. Queen Gundicha.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Is there any Lakshmi deity also in Jagannath Puri, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, there is.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Ramachandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I have a question. I might be confused, but there was an incident mentioned that it was between Andhra border, the temple. So one time it was said, whoever can provide my food 24 hours, only that place I would have my temple. Am I confused in some way, or am I, saying the things which I heard correctly?
You mean about Jagannath?
Yes.
Saying? No.
I might be confused.
Are you relating to the story that I was telling?
No, I didn't. I heard this through somebody else lecture. One of the lectures, that there was a dispute that where should the temple be built, whether it will be border. It is Orissa this side, and the other side is Andhra. So they wanted to make sure that whoever can provide the food 24 hours and other services for the Jagannath temple, that's where he wanted to have the temple. So maybe I am confused.
No, I have not heard that story. It's always been in Puri. That is called Sri Kshetra. It's also called Shanka Kshetra, and it's also mentioned in Skanda Puran. So everywhere, this location where it is right now is mentioned before even it happened.
Okay, thank you very much.
I think Ishan has a question. Ishan S.
No, I actually didn't have a question. I just wanted to, just make one like story of Jagannath Puri. And my grandmother, she used to tell me a lot of miracles of Jagannath Puri. And back like when I was young, she had given me just a very small photo of Jagannath Puri. And I always used to keep that in my wallet. And one time, this was in college, like we had gone to play some game called paintball. And in that game, it was a little bit far, and I ended up losing my wallet. And as part of that, I lost the Jagannath Puri photo also. I kind of just forgot about it. I replaced my cards, everything was going on. And then 6 months later, I just remembered that was the token that my grandma had given me, and I lost, Krishna, the Jagannath Puri Krishna. And it's, I don't know, like it's a miracle or a coincidence. For me, it's a miracle. But literally the next day, the wallet arrived in the mail. This is like after 6 months. And this was my personal miracle, but then my grandma also told me some miracles that she witnessed when she had gone to Jagannath Puri, in terms of the prasadam also, like how different things like just miraculously happened for her. So yeah, definitely definitely believe in Jagannath Puri, and I hope like one day I get to visit it too. I visited as a child, but not like in my youth. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
One person had shared with me, and that when they went, when the Jagannath Rath comes, you can go on the cart. People can hug Jagannath. And at that time, he went to Jagannath's ears and said, me and my wife has been trying to have a child for a long time, and we're not having, biologically, it's not possible, medical science says. Jagannath, if you desire, please bless us with a devotee. And when they came back, they had a baby boy, and they named him Neil Madhav. So there's so many such amazing things that have happened. You just have to speak heart to heart. We don't need to simple baby like heart and speak. Okay, Shama, I think, has raised her hand.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. You were the first question that Mataji was asking, that Gundicha Mataji, what queen went to with King Indradumna or not, she didn't go at all. She stayed back. She also passed away along with everyone else that was on Earth planet at that time. Because King Indradumna went alone to Brahmalok to invite him for installation.
Okay. So I've heard the story where Gundicha, she tells that opened the door. So I think the question was that if he went and came back after all these years, how come she was still there?
I mean, there's several different versions of it, but I mean, the version I've heard, she wasn't around.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else has a question or wants to share anything?
Prabhu just wants to share, I just want to share this, that even our Mayapur Jagannath, he till date performs a lot of miracles, and the devotees are full of stories. There are stories about this watchman who got prasadam from the temple, and then he's the night watchman, and he got some prasadam before the temple doors would close, and he said, okay, I'll just have it. And probably he had this habit of eating that tobacco that they, kind of kenny, what we call in India. So he said, I'll just have that, and after that I'll have prasad. And probably after having his whatever, he fell asleep. And what happened is that his plate was dragged by a dog, so the dog ended up honoring the prasad. And Jagannath was very upset with that being a human, he got the prasadam, but he never honored it. So he came back in the morning, and he started apologizing to the priest profusely, and they said, what happened? What really happened? And then he narrates the whole story, that last night this is what happened, and when I went back home, Jagannath came in my dream, and he chastised me so much, and it was like I was just safe from being beaten. But yeah, I mean, probably he was beaten too. And then he said that Jagannath gave me 10 instructions. And then he said that not to eat tambaku, not to fall asleep while this and that. And then he basically pointed out 5 instructions that he got. And then the priest asked him, what about the other 5 instructions? So he said, no, Prabhu, I cannot share it with you. Those are really personal to me. So, but yeah, even Mayapur Jagannath, he's very much, he's looking after everybody, and he's performing his pastimes, every now and then. So I've heard a lot of stories from Mayapur Jagannath as well.
Haribol, Haribol.
So,
all right. Looks like, Prabhu, there's no one else. I don't think anyone else has a question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please go ahead. Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much for the class. Yes, it does inspire me to go there again. I've been to Puri, but I did not have that understanding then. It was just like any other temple I visited. I really hope and pray that I can go there again with all this knowledge and understanding. So it can be, it can be another blessing for if I can with family. Thank you so much for the class.
thank you. You actually, your mother-in-law was a host for us after we came from Jagannath Puri. When we went, we came to actually from Mayapur before we went to Jagannath Puri. So we have some good memories at your place there. And when we went to Jagannath Puri, and when you see Lord Jagannath, it's out of this world. I remember sitting in front of Lord Jagannath and having tears and saying, and we went with 3 of us and with my parents. And I said, Jagannath, all my desires are fulfilled. I have no more desires, no more desires. And I came out after that, and a year later, I had desires after desires, desires after desires. Desires after desires. Lord, one more thing, sorry, I forgot, but one problem has come, another problem, this problem, that problem. So I realized that, I was just being too overconfident, thinking, Krishna, now no more desires. not there yet. But that's the feeling you get, that now at this moment, I have really no more desires. And since 20 plus years, we've never missed Rath Yatra, never. Whenever it happened in New York, never ever missed it, unless health didn't allow us to go. So that is, there's so many people that we've known and have told us that the people who are claustrophobic, or they don't like crowds, but Jagannath Rath Yatra, they love going there in that million people, but otherwise don't like crowds. It's just amazing. It's hard to express and tell. So Jagannath Prasad, Jagannath Eyes, it's just his devotees, his pastimes. Read more. I just found it very relishing to read here about him. Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra Maharani ki.